News alert: a New York appeals court just this morning has thrown out President Donald Trump's massive civil fraud penalty. The decision from a five-panel group in New York's appellate division changed the original decision that stood to cost Trump over $500 million. One appeals judge calling the lower court's penalty an excessive fine that violates the Eighth Amendment of the United States Constitution. You might remember that New York Attorney General Letitia James' office says despite this decision, they will not be dropping the case.
Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. Warriors, Big Fish just had a big loss. That's right. She lost big in the penalties against our president, Donald J. Trump, and the civil fraud mortgage corruption case that she conjured up and she cooked up like a big pot of witch's brew. But you know what? She just got stung with something. That's what we'll be talking about today on Chat With Me, Linda B. All right, Warriors, don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, select all notifications, stick around to the end. Let's go. You know, I've done multiple videos with New York Attorney General Letitia James and her lawsuit against President Trump, then at that time, former President Trump, for mortgage fraud. But lo and behold, something just happened that is a big win for the president. All right, Warriors, this is coming from Donald J. Trump's social media, Truth Social. Big win today against the totally corrupt and incompetent New York State Attorney General Letitia James and her equally incompetent hand-picked New York State judge. The 5-0 verdict from the appellate division helps greatly to save the status and reputation of the New York judicial system. Letitia James is a criminal who should be forced to resign. That is coming from the president's Truth Social. Now, remember, just to do a brief recap, but I am going to link a video where I had the receipts to all of the dirt that Letitia James herself is actually in. I'm going to link it at the end of this video, and you can just rewatch it just to catch up. But just to give you some little nuggets here and there, she lied on the certificate of occupancy for an apartment building, saying that it only had 4 units when it had 5, so she could get better terms. Also, she put on mortgage documents that she was actually married to her father, Robert James. What in the entire world? So she could get better loan terms. And the properties in Virginia. I got all the receipts in this other video that I will link at the end of this one. You guys gotta check it out. But let's just watch a clip from Fox News, because although President Trump, he gets not legal relief, but financial relief, he doesn't get out of this entirely. Watch.
Well, Fox News alert: a New York appeals court just this morning has thrown out President Donald Trump's massive civil fraud penalty. The decision from a five-panel group in New York's appellate division changed the original decision that stood to cost Trump over $500 million. One appeals judge calling the lower court's penalty an excessive fine that violates the Eighth Amendment of the United States Constitution. You might remember that New York Attorney General Letitia James' office says despite this decision, they will not be dropping the case. Let's get some thoughts from Andy McCarthy. He's a former U.S. attorney. He is a Fox News contributor. He is on the phone with us. And last summer, you were helping us every single day as President Trump sat in that courtroom. Letitia James, the AG, she happened to be there as well. And at the time, I remember, Andy, you said that you thought this could be the outcome once the appellate court got a hold of it. What are your thoughts this morning?
Well, I think, Dana, that Trump may be ultimately completely exonerated on this. For now, the penalty goes. There was division in the appeals court about the merits of the underlying suit, but as you point out, what they found basically under an Eighth Amendment theory, that's the amendment that prohibits cruel and unusual punishments. There was such a mismatch between whatever wrong was actually established in the trial and the outrageous penalty that was imposed for it, which was, I think, $355 million, which with interest and other costs is already up to about $530 million now because it continued to accrue for a while. That was such a ridiculous mismatch between what the penalty was and whatever the wrong was that was established, that had to go. the court is leaving in place some other what they call injunctive rulings that were made by the court. So some things have to be sorted out, like how much monitoring Trump's organization is going to be under. But he's out from under the most important part of the case, obviously. And I think there could still be an appeal to the highest appeals court in New York, the Court of Appeals, where they will deal with the question that seems to have vexed the appellate division, which is the whole merits of the case and whether Letitia James, the Attorney General in New York State, should have been able to use a consumer protection statute that had never been used in this way to try to establish a fraud case based on sophisticated financial actors, where, you know, this is not a situation that a consumer protection statute was ever meant to apply to.
And Andy, we're just getting some new reaction in from the White House right now. If we can pull this up, this is from Trump spokesman Stephen Chung saying, quote, Letitia James' political crusade against President Trump, which is barred by the statute of limitations, and where she ludicrously valued Mar-a-Lago and Palm Beach, Florida, as worth a paltry $18 million, as well as committed a ton of other fatal errors, is just another failed skirmish in the discredited lawfare campaign against President Trump, his family, and his business that other Democrat prosecutors are dropping left and right. Andy, real quick, final word to you. Letitia James was sitting in the front of that courtroom every day smirking, and looks like she lost today.
She lost, but I think, Bill, Trump is president because of lawfare. And I think this was just one, it was a big part of it, but it was just one part of an overarching campaign in which Trump actually won sympathy from even people who weren't particularly sympathetic to him to begin with, but who saw if this could be done to him, it could be done to anyone.
I want you guys to get a look at her face right here. I mean, her face right here, she looks worried. I mean, for some reason, and this is where she was sitting in the courtroom every day up front, smirking and looking over at President Trump. This is someone who really just had it in for him. And some of the things that they said stood out to me in this Fox newscast. They said that there is division in the appeals court under the merits of the underlying suit. Like the merits of this case seem to be faulty. Okay, so he is out from under the financial penalty, which is over $530 million, just over $500 million. They tried to break him, but still the other injunctions remain in place, and all those things have to be sorted out. You heard the man who said he ultimately thinks President Trump will be cleared of everything, and this is probably going to the highest court in New York, which, you know, we'll see how it actually turns out, but I believe that it will turn out well. I believe. Now, this is what happens. You're still going to have people that think, well, he still did this. He's a felon. He did this. Those people are Trump deranged, okay? Never mind. You give them proof and receipts. You can give people all the proof you want. People believe what they want to believe. When it comes to the Bible, when it comes to religious matters, when it comes to political matters, when it comes to anything, people want to do what they want to do, and no matter how many receipts and proof, you can have video and everything, some people will just not want to hear it. They want to cling on to what they want to cling on to. But check my video that I did months ago with receipts. On the thumbnail, it says, she married her own father. Letitia James married her own father. That is just wild. I mean, documentation after documentation, and yet she goes after a former president at the time for mortgage fraud when she has mortgage fraud, including those properties in Virginia. And then Adam Schiff comes up with fraud with him. See, people, it's just funny to me. This is just like really hilarious at this point. Big Tish, what you gonna do? What are you going to do, girl? Because you lost. Okay, you lost. Wipe the smug off your face. Get your own act together, because you're out here all proud trying to make a name for yourself, but then you got all this dirt on you. And now one of the most important things is the fact that all of this money, the financial penalty, is gone, but still other injunctions are still in place. I want to make that part very clear. But guys, tell me what you think. But don't forget that video that I'm going to link at the end of this one. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, select all notifications. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, these United States of America, and march on, warriors.